YouTube, and I remembered that I've been suggested that we should call this community office hours rather than pairing because we don't necessarily always do pairing. So
All right.
do that on Discord while I remember. Unless somebody's already done it for me. No, not yet. Why wouldn't I be allowed to edit the event? Is it because it's in progress? I think that's what happens. Let me check. Hey, Marco.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, I was just saying to Jim, I'm stressed out, but good. Yeah.
Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty stressing couple of weeks, but yeah, all good.
Is yours work?
Yeah, some changes have happened, so yes.
Mine's just fun home stuff, usual like daily life and admin. So the kitchen delivery, they dropped something on the car, so the car had to go and be repaired. So we got a rental, and the rental's got a flat. So it's just it's not what I signed up for.
They never said.
I've just I had a conversation with Ariana earlier in the week, and she's suggesting we sort of rebrand this to like community office hours, just because it's not always coding, if that makes sense. So there's lots of conversations and architecture and stuff. I was like, yeah, it sounds good. It's also maybe a bit more of a industry sort of like recognizable term. So I've done Thursdays. I've just changed the name on the Discord event, but it always bugs me that you can't update I can't update the today's event because it's currently happening and in progress. So it doesn't let me edit it. But
yeah.
Hey, Jim's just phoning himself. And Raymond's gonna be joining in a little bit to help us with something as well.
All right. Hopefully there's no feedback at all from this.
None yet.
Okay, perfect. I think I figured it out. So if Raymond shows up, I have my GDK ready for him to look at. But
Awesome.
The other issue that I wanted to ask is I put in the Discord yesterday about the Node Runner All and Node Runner All 2 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Let me find that. So I think you were interested in like who might be I don't know, like a decision maker or someone that manages that sort of dependencies and stuff that could say, yeah, let's do this, or
basically.
And is E18E, is that externalization or?
I don't actually know what it stands for. They're a community focused on trying to improve the JavaScript ecosystem, improve performance, and reduce old dependencies.
Okay.
They actually reduced how long it takes Storybook itself to install. I can actually show.
Well, sorry, I didn't do that yesterday. I'm going to find if there's an internal Slack channel. I know like GitLab UI got sort of merged or rebranded recently. I don't know if you saw or heard, like, I think it's kind of become one with the design system now, which we used to call pajamas. I don't know if we still call it pajamas or if it's just called the GitLab design system now.
Yeah, I saw a lot of rebrand happening. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh no, it looks like it's still just pajamas design systems. That's all good.
Yeah, pajamas design.
Where is share real quick?
I guess probably what I've posted, like reshared your question anyway. Oh, that looks like a nice representation of
Yeah, so this over here
spaghetti.
was Storybook before, and this is Storybook after. It reduced the amount
Nice.
of
Oh,
disk space, how much disk was actually transferred, and just how fast Storybook was as well. So
Awesome.
Storybook, you guys unfortunately can't hit Storybook, get the Storybook update until you get rid of View 2,
hmm.
but
which,
Okay, okay.
which is going to take a good while.
Yeah, although again, like I don't pretend to be on top of it, if you know what I mean, but I do believe we made fairly good progress. And I know now, like if you merge any new code in, I think it all gets tested, like all the tests are run with Vue 2 and Vue 3.
Yeah.
Because I think we've still got old tests that only pass with Vue 2 and need to be tweaked and improved to work on Vue 3. But all new tests have to work on. I'll give you a phone in.
but it definitely, at least for that dependency, the one that I mentioned hasn't been updated in 7 years, whereas this one at least is getting dependabot, de, dependabot and other updates as well. So
Oh yeah, the Renovate bot or whatever it is. Yeah, cool.
so plus it has smaller dependency tree. But
Uh, Okay. So yeah, I've shared your message. I'll see if anyone comes back. It might be worth creating, or definitely, I think probably worth creating an issue to have that conversation like properly in public. I know Discord is in public, but
yep,
track
I
that conversation at some point.
yep, I didn't know who I should ask about that, and I know with the massive backlog of tickets, no one's going to see it if I
No, I mean, like
prioritize.
the good thing is, we love you, Jim. So we'll definitely make sure we get some feedback of some sort. Whether that feedback is we'd love to do it, but it's realistically we're not going to be able to for X or Y reason, or whether it's like, yeah, go ahead, raise the MR if you can, and we'll review it or whatever. But and because I think GitLab UI is part of the pajamas design system, and I believe I'm going to have a look at the GitLab product. I think that design system is its own group. Um,
Foundation, probably.
yeah, so you've got the foundations, you've got design system, personal productivity, and UX paper cuts. So I think it'd be the design system group, and design system group. There's a product manager we could ping, Jeff Tucker, um, or yeah, I mean one of the engineers, and it looks like there's just two front end engineers there, Mark Florian and Scott De Jong. I'll probably pronounce that wrong, but drop a link in the Discord to that group so that we can tag
Even if
one or
you
more of
ping
those.
that, I already had a chance to have a chat with him while I was working on the to do migration over to the Vue application, and he's super flexible and available.
Who
If you
was that?
have,
Sorry, Marco, Jeff, or
yeah, Jeff.
cool. I don't know. I probably have spoken to Jeff at some point on a call, but Mark certainly. He's, I'm going to say, reasonably local, not too far from London. I've met up with him in London a few times face to face, and again, sort of very. Oh, and I guess product designer wouldn't really be involved in that. I was going to say Dan's there as well, and I know Dan quite well, but yeah, awesome. So then GDK, Raymond did said he's going to jump on. He's on the other line at the moment, but yeah, hopefully sort of 10, 15 minutes or whatever. So we'll grab him later on. Anything else on your list, Jim, or?
Nope, I would just create an issue on GitLab UI for that. So it'd be GitLab or GitLab UI, correct?
So I think, like I say, that's been merged into the the GitLab design system. Need to find the link for that quickly.
It should be on the project homepage.
I did. Oh, I do see that. Hold on, let me share my screen.
Yeah, I just dropped that link in the Discord as well.
So I see this link now.
That's it. Yeah.
So then, if I come here, so that's new.
I mean, the fact there's only one issue in that old project to me immediately rings alarm bells.
Oh, you guys do have that created. Awesome. So
Good.
then
Glad
they moved all those. Perfect.
Huh. But
what have you spotted, Marco?
Let me have a quick check. Yeah, the fork doesn't have the updated project information.
Should we? Yeah, there's a question. I'm tempted. I actually had a message. Go on.
We always change the project information. So
I had a message earlier. So I created a new fork for docs.gitlab.com.
yeah.
And okay. So we were looking at archiving or I was considering it because the technical writing team suggested that it's not used anymore. But Nicholas has said, well, once the upstream project gets archived, then like the fork will automatically get archived. So I wonder why GitLab UI hasn't been archived yet as well. I saw there was like one merge request and one issue in the tracker.
Probably. Has it been made read-only? Maybe.
I thought, well, I thought, I don't know what I thought, but I know that archiving a project is a way of making it read-only, but is there another read-only feature or?
That's a nice question.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen one more time, and can someone tell me if I'm going crazy or not, please?
We can try.
The answer is probably yes, but so I'm taking a look. Well, let me open this one up. So I'm going back to GitLab UI, right? So in GitLab UI, if I take a look at their package.json, and I do a control F for npm run, I see there's one.
Yeah.
But if I come into the package.json for that design.gitlab.com, I don't see it.
Is there a subfolder maybe inside design.gitlab.com for GitLab UI?
Yeah, you have to go inside of, what was it? Packages. GitLab UI. And there you have it.
Okay. Alrighty.
Because the design GitLab.com project is basically the whole project for the design .gitlab.com website.
Yeah.
And inside there you have the GitLab UI project.
So then
a monorepo.
At GitLab UI. No, it's at GitLab /GitLab UI, right? That's what I want. So are they still updating this dependency then? Is this the
I
same
think
dependency?
so. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it still publishes to the same.
Yeah, published 4 days ago.
Was there a release 4 days ago?
Probably.
Can
That would have been a Friday.
you look at the 1801
This,
versions? Does that show
this
you?
version, this version is not related to the main GitLab version, so it's not like once a month.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'd agree that that looks like there was a release on Friday. It's only a minor a patch though, right? 0.1.
Right. It's only 29 megs with us.
Doesn't surprise. I mean, that actually sounds quite big to me for what is a couple of wrappers around. Although, I guess it does it include like dependencies, if that makes sense. Like,
So it includes this massive migrate custom
oh,
utils to Tailwind bundled MJS file
wow.
that won't even render.
Well, there's a
Let's
surprise.
let's stop that rendering. Come on.
Yeah, and then this will be all the dependencies, will it? Like Bootstrap view and stuff like that, or
Oh, I'm wondering what this tokens is, but
Tokens are like single elements of the can I call it UI elements like the colors, stuff like that. Not tokens like in access tokens.
okay.
There's a lot of weekly downloads. I wonder how many are from GitLab itself and how many from others.
a very large chunk. I wish I could remember, although I don't know how that works. Like, because every pipeline surely does, but maybe it does. I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah, I think we probably have like 1,000 pipelines a day, plus then there's maybe 10 jobs within the pipeline that pull this same package, plus then retries, plus et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I can imagine that we probably contribute tens of thousands a day.
So while this renders, you can actually see what all dependencies this pulls in. So anytime you install this, you can see, like in your CI pipelines, you can see
Cool, cool.
what all
And
it
is this the
uses.
spaghetti that you showed us earlier that was substantially simplified by
That's what Storybook did. Storybook
Oh,
yeah,
itself. This is GitLab itself.
yeah. Well, GitLab UI, right?
Well, GitLab UI, yes.
Yeah.
I would be curious to do the same for the main GitLab project. I mean, it would be even bigger.
Yeah, the problem is all you need is one of your dependencies to look like that, and then all of a sudden you look like that as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That being said, I know that we have got a lot of dependencies. So as I say, it's just a exponential impact of that sort of
But is this
style.
showing only product dependencies or also the dev dependencies? I don't think that the dev dependencies are included.
No, it does. It can include dev dependencies. Give me 1 second. Let me throw this into. Let me find the package.json here. Where's the? Really?
It's interesting.
Now it's because of either cores or Cloudflare.
Oh, okay.
Probably Cloudflare.
Yeah, probably Cloudflare. But you can see here I have include the dev dependencies. If I uninclude them, it still has a lot, but a lot of times you're in your CI pipelines, you're doing and grabbing all those dev dependencies. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
so that was just something I was playing around with.
Cool. I think
You, like all of us, have fun ways of having fun.
Oh, yes.
So we're doing this pretty big rewrite of what we call our labor engine at work, and I don't want anything to do with that. So I'm looking for ways to not be involved with that.
Nice. Nice.
Though I'm the only one who can do the rewrite. So
So the workflow catalog team that I'm on at the moment, one of the front end engineers like commented on the back end returning an error message that says something like, something or other, or you don't have access or you don't have permission. And they flagged that, I presume it is pajamas, a design system, or somewhere our technical writing guidelines say that we should say do not don't. So they said, "Oh, could you update that?" And I was like, "Yeah, maybe," but I suspect that that's a sort of out of the box or standardized error. And if I modify that, and I was right, I modified it, and it's referenced in like 400 tests or something like that. So I was like, I'm then going to have to go and update 400 tests. And you know how GitLab works, right? There'll be a conflict every couple of minutes because somebody else has changed one of those test files. So I suspect we're going to have to do some kind of collaborative effort or whatever you want to call it. Maybe we define a const somewhere and we refactor all the tests in small batches to point to that const, and then we can just change like in one place or something like that.
Or you add the exclusion. We should not use don't except this case.
I'm promised that Raymond is on his way.
no
I'm just
worries.
trying to think if I've got any updates or changes since last week. I don't think anything like massive. We are still like making nice progress with the workflow catalog stuff, like slowly sort of pushing back end stuff through. So we've introduced the concept of, they're called tools. I'm not sure if I love the term, but that's what they've been called since like the AI Gateway and Duo Workflow Service has kind of been in existence. And these tools are kind of like the abilities or permissions that agents have to do things like read issues, create issues, read merge requests, read epics, all the kind of stuff they have to access your data and access GitLab. So we've created that kind of concept now in the monolith as well. So we've now got the kind of concept of a flow, an agent, and tools. And we've got a reasonable amount of the cruddy type GraphQL, backend services and models and mutations and GraphQL types and stuff in place. But an agent and a flow still doesn't really have a definition, if that makes sense. So we're having to sort of then figure out, okay, well, an agent, I think at the moment it has like a list of tools, a system prompt and a user prompt. A workflow doesn't have anything yet, but we need to start figuring out, I guess it needs a trigger and it needs a one or more agents, and then those agents need to be connected in some way and blah, blah, blah. So, hey, Raymond.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry for the delay.
No worries. Glad to have you.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Good to see you for a change, Marco. And yeah, nice to see both of you, Jims.
I'm just on my desktop and my laptop, so my desktop does not have a microphone.
All good.
So I put the GDK in a box in a container on my local machine or on my desktop. That's Gym 2. And I've been having some issues trying to get into GDK in a box in a container through the SSH. I ran your script that did the overwrite stuff, and I was hoping that you could take a look at what I did wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me minimize some stuff on here. Just be sure. Cool. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so if I come in here and new window, minimize that because I'm sure you don't want to look at Java code. Go away.
Managed to
And
escape the orbit of Java, so
uh, it's never ending. So what I'm going to do is come here, and I have this GDK. I'm just going to do a delete where it won't let me. So what I'm going to do, connect to host JDK.local, and it
and
just
now it's asking you for a password. Gotcha.
every time.
So I
Now
think
if
I know. I think I know what the problem might be. So let's have a look at your um, home directory.ssh/config file.
So you may or may not, but don't cat it quite yet, just in case. Like mine
You may
had
have
private
credentials.
URLs and stuff like that in there. So
Yes.
yeah, if it looks okay, then by all means share it, Jim. But just in
Yeah.
case.
Thanks,
it
Lee.
only
Always
has.
good to say.
I triple checked it. It only has GDK stuff, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, great. So what you can do is let's go in and edit that file, because actually what we've got is we've got 4 entries for gdk.local, and I think they are confusing one another, or at least
Okay.
confusing. So let's remove the first 3 so that we have everything after the comment. Perfect.
And then all I have to do is come back here.
And
Yes, please.
let's cancel that.
So that worked. So the only question. Go. Well, now it's complaining.
Yeah, so let's just close that window and let's just try that step again, because that worked all too easily, if that makes sense. That's worked. And now it's connecting and doing the some of the things. That's veil moaning. That's probably okay. If we do an open folder, uh, GitLab development kit and GitLab. Cool. And if you open a terminal within VS Code,
All right. So that appears to have worked. I can do an LS, all my stuff, PWD. So that seems to have worked. I thought the GitLab GDK script that you had, that custom little one, I thought that should have not had a conflict.
yeah, so I think what that script does, and I think there's an opportunity for a fix on the script here. The script kind of assumes that you've only ever done one thing, and all it does is when it makes that change to that SSH config file, it just adds. So if there is existing config for that host, it doesn't remove the existing config. And when SSH processes that file, it looks like it picked up GDK local up at the top and was using that setup with those credentials.
All right, let me find that script real quick.
That's the one. So there is a link to it in the next step that you can actually just open up just right under where the back in step 2, there's a blue linkable thing so that you can take yourself directly to the code.
Cool.
And yeah, if you look down in line 30 plus, that's where it actually goes and does the edit. And all it does is it just adds existing, it adds the new section into the file. So it doesn't take into consideration if you have any entries already for GDK local as a host. It just simply adds more.
Okay. So it was just appending it to the end of the file.
Exactly that, yeah. So there's definitely an opportunity to do some parsing of the file to say, oh, well, you already have a host. Do you want me to get rid of anything for that particular host, or a little bit more error handling?
It's not the most structured file format in the way, though, in the world, is it, to parse? And
it doesn't look easy.
There's possibly out there a parse, like even something that does parse it or whatever, but yeah.
Can't you try to grep for host gdk.local and check if it's there already?
Well, the problem you would run into is you can have multiple config files, right?
You can indeed include other config files,
You
but
would then have to follow all those links in that config.
you would have to follow those links, but that would assume that the user has now actually moved their GDK config into a separate file, and in which case, there's only so much we can do at that point
and
before you're
if
kind
they
of on
know
your own.
enough, if they know enough to have done that, then they're probably comfortable and confident enough to change or fix or whatever.
We would think that, yes.
But that does make me think, again, probably not an immediate thing, but if we change this in future, maybe we do squirt the config into a separate file and then squirt the include in, and that way anytime we need to make any changes, we know we can just blow that include file away and modify, like we can sort of start from scratch without having to try and find a section in the SSH config.
I think one of the sort of standard approaches when you're sort of modifying a config file like this is to wrap your modification in a very specific comment that you can parse the file for that beginning and end comment, and anything in between that is maintained by you. In this case, obviously, for historical things, we can see that there's already things for GDK local outside of that sort of comment section. So what you could do then is have a thing saying, right, we've updated our section that we believe we manage, but just as a notice, and try to make it as clear to the user as possible. We've noticed other sections of GDK local configs outside of our managed section. So you may want to, and go tell the users you may want to go and clean that up.
And that could be done with a simple grep to check.
Exactly. Yeah, you can pick that up fairly easily.
So then that would be as simple as, let me copy that script. Sorry, I don't break this. Let me just copy that whole thing. That could be as simple as, go ahead.
Just tell it to grep and check.
Dot. Want to do this. /config.
There we go.
Pretty much done.
it knew what I wanted to do before I even did it.
Yeah, so I mean that's as in terms of a simplest fix, that straight away is already saying that the config exists. Now we may want to, in that message, spit out where we found that, because again, if a user that doesn't know their way around an SSH config file sees that error message, they still don't know where to find it. So that's perfect. And then there we go. So we've got please remove it before rerunning the script. I think that is as solid as you can make it. That way it kind of says, oh, well, we can see that this has been run before. I would like to personally have it as idempotent as possible. So not actually die, but actually just sort of possibly even ask the user, do you want to continue? But that works perfectly well because that would have straight away already alerted you to say, hey, you've already got GDK local configs in there. Please go remove them. And then you would have gone and removed them, gone through the script, and it would have just worked.
Yeah,
But
or
this
I
would-
almost wonder if we were to still squirt our new bit at the bottom and it to sort of say like, latest and greatest, but then it tells you already had something that you need to go and remove. Otherwise, the new bit that we added at the bottom isn't gonna be used, or something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, also because this way you're not checking whether the existing host GTK local entry was generated by the script or not.
Yeah, so I would enhance this additionally by adding after line 53 and line 62 an additional comment line, basically just copying the added by GDK in a box comment or sort of end of GDK in a box, like end of GDK in a box, yeah. So that we can find the beginning and end. That way it gives you a beginning and end anchor. And then you know that anything between those anchors is replaceable.
So then I would update this to be so post. I would have to exclude that if they have added by JDK in a box, then right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I would say that if we can see it's been added by GDK in a box, then don't error out. So you may just have to get a little bit more cute with the grep. Just a plain grep might not be sort of strong enough. And then where we simply append at the end, we actually want to remove the existing block and add a new block regardless, because that way, then if we are switching from VM to container, it will blow away the VM configs and add the container configs.
All right, I have code for this that I can steal from my work GitLab config. Oh, that's what it is right there. -q. Is that what it is? Maybe.
No, -q is just not gonna. -q just suppresses the output, I think, of grep.
Where is my terminal?
I'm not mistaken, -q is just suppressing output. So you'll get a positive result if it found something, or a negative result. So it's just to look for the exit status.
Okay.
Just sort of thinking here, there's a right way and a wrong way. But one of the ways, okay, again, we probably want to stick in Bash as much as possible, because the reality is that's what we can almost guarantee that we have. Although there is potentially need to do this in PowerShell too, because I worked with a contributor that didn't even have WSL running on their machine. It was pure PowerShell all the way. So we had to kind of manually do some of these bits. But that's a whole other story. Um, but what you would want to do maybe is define the two blocks of config as different variables. So sort of define those blocks using something like a what's the word? Um, where you go, where you cat something to EOF, here text as here doc. So I would put the content of the container config in a container here doc, and put the content of the VM config into a VM here doc. In fact, yeah, do it that way. In fact, potentially we can even remove the VM stuff a little bit and just say, well, we're not really supporting the VM stuff that much anymore. So here's what you want to do. But then you can actually grep. If you've got that all in a variable, then you can actually do a single search for that entire block as a complete block.
I have no idea what a container variable is, like you were saying.
Okay, so I'm just saying what we would do instead of doing echo and running sort of 7 lines of echo of just
Right.
pushing that stuff in there. What we could do instead is do a so you could in Bash you can say I want a variable name, so let's call a variable Bob. Variable Bob is equal to these 5 lines of text. That then we can echo Bob into that file, but also it gives us Bob to. It also gives us the content of Bob to grep against, and we can actually pass that to grep and say to grep, hey, look for exactly this content. It's a multi-line grep, but it's a piece of text that grep can look through the file for.
Okay.
If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
Yes, it does.
And then that way we've got one definition of that text that goes into the file. And then we can use that in grep. We can use that in the echo later on. We can use it everywhere we need to use that one definition of the file. So it effectively takes the string content of what we're currently echoing and moves it into a variable that we can manipulate in multiple ways.
Okay. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm happy to sort of hack on that with you if you want.
That would be cool.
So give me a moment to just find I have a VS Code open. I think that is already in the GDK folder, or I had one.
Do you want me to submit this as a commit somewhere?
Yeah, I think let's if you create a branch. So first of all, let's keep the file open that you've got open there. But remember that because you're running GDK, you've already got a clone of GDK in your terminal in that VS Code. So when you open the folder in VS Code, you open the GitLab folder. But if you just change under File, go Open Folder, and just that's that folder exactly. So just say OK there, and you want to. You just lost that file that you changed, but now you can actually open.
I have a copy.
Okay, cool. All right, now you can open that file directly under support.
Support.
Support. Yeah, GDK in a box. It's the setup SSH key. That's the same script. So yeah.
Overwrite that then.
And then you might just want to check your remote is set up to use the community forks, because I don't think by default it is. So just if you hit that terminal, just hit a key in that terminal. It's trying to see if you're running in a workspace, and just open a new terminal.
And then that would be CD JDK.
No, where you are is perfect. You're in the right folder. So just do a git remote -v. Right, so we just need to change your remote to use the contributor forks, the community forks, which is the URL as it is there, with a GitLab community between the GitLab com and GitLab org.
Right. So
Just git. Oh, you can do it that way. Absolutely. Yeah.
Git lab community /
That's it. Yeah. Perfect.
I figure that's easier than messing around with all the git commands. And then git commits, or no, git branch. Create a branch. SSH key. That's fine. If I go ahead and do
by default, the checkout is an HTTP checkout. So I don't really use Git over HTTP.
I'm going to stop sharing because I think my key's in here and I don't want it to.
Yes, that's what I was kind of going to say, is you don't want to push any keys or anything. There is in the GDK in a box doc, there is a step further down that tells you that you can run an additional script that will generate an SSH key pair inside your container, that you can just stick straight into GitLab.com, which is one way you can do it. Otherwise, yeah, if you can fix your credentials easily enough, the other way, that works too.
Yeah, I just gotta grab my email real quick. And my new shell key.
Raymond, but with GDK in a box set up with a container, wouldn't it even be possible to use dev containers?
Yes, you could potentially use dev containers. You've just got to figure out the runes, but yes, you could potentially use it as set it up as dev containers. I think somebody has, if you go to the original sort of MR that we were building the containerized version on. I think there was a community contributor that was getting it working in dev containers. Yeah, it's just a little bit more steps that I hadn't kind of done. I just wanted to make sure the container itself works as a container. But yes, dev containers would be a great way to actually use it.
The question is, how did it know? I did not put my. Where would my. This is interesting. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. And maybe I don't remember doing this part. But if I come back here to here, I did a git push of that set upstream origin, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. I don't remember ever sharing or putting my SSH key directly in here, but it looks to, or username password, unless, is it because I signed into GitLab
So
Duo?
maybe, I don't actually know. Like I say, it's the fact is we have your remote as an HTTP remote, so it wouldn't have pushed that via SSH. It's and in fact there it even just confirms that you've pushed that to HTTPS GitLab.com, GitLab community, etc. So that's done it via HTTPS, but how it authenticated via HTTPS, I don't know. But yes, it's entirely possible that because you've got workflow, the extension running, it picked that up and knew what it was doing.
I don't know what this is doing. I don't want the merge request. I just want to see the commits.
Scroll down. If you just scroll down the page without, yeah, just carry on where you're going. The commits should be at the bottom there, but the commits you won't see because it's showing this in the context of the upstream, and the commits haven't been done because that's done asynchronously on a fork. So yes. If you just want to see the commits, you'd have to go to the repo to look at the actual commit branch.
Branch.
It's just at the top of the screen. If you click, you should be able to just click on your branch name, or you could find it there quickly enough.
Okay, so it doesn't have my commit though.
And if you do a git log
Because
here,
I never made my commit.
that's why it didn't have a commit.
Okay. Add parsing for jdk.local and exit if found. So then I can do git push. So then if I refresh this,
There's your
it went ahead and did that. So that's what I expect then. Okay. I think that's it then, right?
Yep.
And then just make that merge request.
Yeah, and I see your branch there.
Can I throw you on this, Raymond?
Yeah, you can indeed.
I think so. Then that would be contributors. GitLab.com. Log in. Let me log in. Slash manage merge request. Not that. What's my merge request ID? I don't, let me just get rid of all that.
Well, that's rendered strangely. Oh, there we go.
Well, I found a bug in there. Oh, it doesn't let me actually assign.
It does. It does. Right up. Right up. Don't click. Request from someone else. Yeah.
What?
At Stingray ZA. STIN. But it's
Can
all
you
the way
put it in
around.
chat?
So
I'm not going to get it right.
yeah, I'll just pop it into the chat. Just go find the chat.
Thank you.
Cool.
Hey, awesome.
Got to hop off because it's way too late for me to have lunch.
All right. Thank you very much for your help today, both of you.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, please do let me know if you how you find the VM experience. Well, not the VM, the container.
So I've been
Um,
using it for on my laptop for since before it was officially released, and I really enjoy it.
Great.
Um,
Cool.
I just want to update the script so that there's some way to automatically pass in your SSH key and all that configuration.
Yeah, no, for sure. That would be fantastic. So any fixes along those lines, please by all means, very, very welcome. And cheers, Marco.
Bye.
Um, so yeah, those any of those fixes are very welcome and will be happily reviewed. Feel free to dump me in as reviewer on any of those if you do have them, or indeed Lee. Um, but yeah, the
If I can,
more we can make it as smooth as possible, as easy as possible, and as just sort of like almost invisible as possible, the easier it becomes for everyone, right?
yep. So, all right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Likewise. Yeah, thanks.